and welcome to another episode of the MDM podcast. Yes, a different voice hosting today, Trevor Markowski. And Joe is not dead after the Harden
I'm
trade.
here. I'm right
He's
here.
still here. He's still here. If you're just wondering why I'm hosting, it's just that's my punishment. So he hasn't killed himself yet.
Trevor lost his
Well,
picks, so he has to open.
yes, yes, but the cops are on standby just in case Joe tries to harm himself. And that's what we're going to start out with, the Harden trade. Joe, as a Nets fan, what's your thoughts?
Well, Trevor, hold on. Let me start by telling you that was a great introduction, okay? You did a great job. And just about everything that's gone on in not even the last 24 hours, this past week since we got off the air on Monday. We could start anywhere. Now, we're starting with basketball. You could have started with football. You could have started with baseball. You could have started with hockey, and you could have started with basketball. That is how jam-packed this week is. So we're going to start with Harden. But I just wanted to point that out, that this week was absolutely crazy. A lot was going on, and we're going to start with Harden. But yeah, just a lot happened. So you want me to give you my thoughts on Harden?
Oh yeah, the reason why I picked Harden first is because we got to torch you a little bit. So
Okay, I'll be blunt with you. I hate every part of it. I cannot stand it. And Sean Marks on Tuesday, or was it I think it was Tuesday, right? Or was it Wednesday? I think it was
today,
Tuesday.
what?
I think it was Wednesday, rather. Sean Marks essentially shipped out every piece that turned this team around, with the exception of Joe Harris and Spencer Dinwiddie. Over the past 4 years, this team has been built around Karis LeVert and Jared Allen. Now, none of those guys remain on the roster. So,
Yeah,
I get you bring in James Harden, but I got my problems with James Harden. And it started Tuesday night when he showed up to media. You saw that, right?
I saw that.
So,
Um,
that was a turnoff. Go ahead.
yeah. Here's the full trade, if people are wondering. So the Rockets get Victor Oladipo.
Who wanted out of Indianapolis?
Yes,
I mean,
that
not
was a separate
Indiana.
trade.
Sorry, Indiana.
That's a separate trade with the
Mm-hmm.
Pacers and the Rockets. Dante Exum. This thing, I hope I'm saying it right. Rodonis Crocus. I don't know. I try my best.
Mm-hmm.
3 Nets first round picks, 2022, 24, 26.
Which means no future. That's out the drain.
No. Milwaukee's first, 2022 unprotected.
That's from Cleveland.
And yeah. And 4 Brooklyn first round swaps, 21, 23, 25, 27. The Rockets get all that. The Nets get James Harden. The Pacers get LeVert and a second rounder. And the Cavs get Jared Allen and Prince.
We also got
So,
a second rounder too, by the way.
oh yes, you got to put that.
You got to throw that in
there.
there. We got some draft capital.
Yes. But Joe, why don't you describe to the people who are not so sure what pick swaps mean? Why don't you describe what that means?
Oh, so pick swaps are basically Houston has the right to swap picks with the Nets. So let's say the Nets finish with the 5th overall pick and the Rockets finish with the 16th overall pick. If the Rockets are going to want the higher pick, so they essentially are just going to be able to switch whenever they feel like it.
So, is there a possibility that the Nets don't have a top 15 first round pick in like 10 years?
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's 8 years, right? But
8 years, sorry.
They got rid of, what was it, 3 of their first round picks. So that's 3 years gone. And then 4 pick swaps. So whatever year they get the lowest pick. Now, if you want to combat that, remain competitive. But do you mind if I get back to telling you why I hate this trade?
Sure.
Sure. So I know the Nets have been struggling, not over the past 2 games, but when the trade was made, they were struggling. And although they were, I was still not willing to give up all of the depth they had. Trevor, you know it better than anyone. Depth is important. Look at your Laker team. LeBron and AD can sit on the bench the whole game, and they'd still win by 25. Depth is important. And this has to be the earliest overreaction, the early season reaction I've ever seen in sports. How at 6-6, they're willing to trade everyone on their bench for this. I can't say those words on here, so I don't get fined or whatever. But let's call it like it is: ball hungry, not in shape and ready to play basketball, and all he's gonna do in this locker room is add fuel to the fire. That's all he's here to do.
Well, he might. He's a good player. Now, I want to turn my attention to what the Rockets get to get, like I said, Oladipo, Exum, three first rounders, actually three first Nets rounders, four swaps, and a
Mhm.
Milwaukee 2022 unprotected. They made out great in this trade.
Oh, they definitely did. And with all the picks they got, with all the players they traded away, now they bring in Oladipo, who I hear they're going to ship out any day now because he doesn't want to be there either. He didn't like it in Indiana, and he's sure as hell not going to like it in Houston. I heard, or I didn't hear, last night the Houston Rockets won their first game without James Harden, and everyone in the locker room seemed to bind together and use that as like a building opportunity. I think we lost Trevor. All right, so we lost Trevor. Just to reiterate, I was saying that even though Houston traded away Harden, they actually won the game last night, and the locker room came together and used it as a building experience.
Yeah, and they did. Now they have a future in the past, but they got some good pieces there.
Mm-hmm.
So certainly the Rockets, should they're looking good. I
Well,
wouldn't say title contenders, but they could build themselves up.
no, I don't think they're even contenders yet. But you know what my number one problem with this trade is, dude?
They gave them so much.
Well, yeah, we gave the whole bench. That's a huge problem. We gave up a bunch of picks. This is just like Paul Pierce and Garnett all over again. It really is. And what it leaves you with is DeAndre Jordan is the number one center. And I've made it clear to you, and I've made it clear to anyone listening, I cannot stand this guy.
It does.
I can't stand watching him. Watch him for 5 minutes. It's awful.
You made it clear. The other thing I want to turn to your attention to is that they're always focusing on the Pacers and the Cavs when they got back. The Pacers got back LeVert in the second rounder,
Mm-hmm.
and the Cavs got back Allen and Prince. Those teams have made out pretty well too.
Well, for Indiana is already in a great spot there. 4 games over 500. They're still a pretty good team. Now, I don't think they're as powerful as, I don't know, the Celtics or the Bucks or even the Nets right now. But adding LeVert, who's a great player, and I've watched him these past couple games, great player. And as for Cleveland, they get Jared Allen. That's great. They already have a crowded center position. Andre Drummond's up there. JaVale McGee's up there. So now they have 3 centers competing for playing time. I'm sure Cleveland's happy with what they got in Jared Allen, but it wasn't really a need.
Well, the thing I'll say about the Pacers is that they have a bunch of workmen like. There's not one star on the team.
Mm-hmm.
There's no LeBron or AD. There's a lot of workmen like good players all around that makes it a
Well,
a good team.
that's why I don't think they're a finals contender. What was the last team to win without a star? Like the 2004 Pistons, I think it was. They're the last team to win without a star. You need stars to win in this league. And
It's different. It's
no,
different.
yeah. But the good thing about this James Harden trade is they got to start. Now, I wanted to ask you a question. With Kyrie Irving gone, and if you want to get to him, we can get to him in a second. I got a lot to say on him too. With him gone, how much of a factor did he play in to the Nets getting James Harden? With his uncertainty, do you think it made a big impact? I think it does.
I think it does too, and this is going to get into our next topic or next uh, discussion. Yeah, I heard that if Kyrie has a negative test, he could return on Saturday.
I heard I heard Mark today. It's not happening.
It's not happening.
That's what I heard.
That's all I heard was a negative test. He could return on Saturday. Again, if he gets the test or doesn't, but I heard
He's
he
not.
could return.
Is he not getting suspended? Right? He only got a fine.
He got 50,000.
I think he should be suspended. I mean, come on. He can't pull that kind of stuff, dude. You can't leave your team for quote unquote political reasons and then go out to a party. You can't do that. That's a bad look.
I agree, and that played a factor. I would say certainly in a Harden trade, and the guys who have left on the bench now, you have Joe Harris,
4 guys.
you have TLC.
Uh-huh.
So those are your kind of bench guys right there.
Well, I'll say this: Reggie Perry played good in the Knick game. When they were down to 9 players in the Knick game, Reggie Perry came up big. He was a leading scorer into halftime.
He was, and who else is on that bench that stayed? Right? Anybody else?
Yeah, Landry Shamet.
Landry Shamet, and you got Jeff Green.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing is, besides those 4 bench players, and those 4 players, and Kyrie, KD, and Irving, can those other guys keep up the performance like they have been? Which is going to be the question.
Definitely. And I wanted to ask you this because when I saw the trade happen and they traded their entire bench, and I don't know if it was last night. I think it was the night that the trade happened. The New Orleans Pelicans were on TV, and I can only think the whole game about AD going to Lakers. What was that like for
Mhm.
you? Now I know AD's a different animal than James Harden. He didn't give you all this trouble. Now I think it's a bad thing that the league is going down this path that superstars are controlling teams. Now this has been a thing for a couple of years now, but it's not a good look. But
No.
would you compare? Try and step into my shoes. Try and step into the Net fan shoes. Is it similar to what the Lakers did with AD? Remember, they gave up Ball. They gave up Brandon Ingram. Like guys like that. Would you say it's similar? Would you say it's worse or better?
Well, I would say it's better because they won a championship. How
Okay.
about that?
Okay. Before
That's
the
number one.
championship. What do you think before the championship?
Well, I thought they gave up a lot. I thought it was coming. I did.
Okay.
I saw it months in advance, and you know
So, but were you happy about it, or
I was happy to get AD.
okay?
I thought they made the right move
Okay.
in the end. And another thing too is that you have to go back to LeBron. I mean, was it Indiana they played? Remember they were making fun of him and saying that they don't want these guys on the team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I just figured they those guys couldn't be on the Lakers anymore. They had to get rid of them.
Right.
It was going to become a bad environment, and you
And
just
and
had to get rid of
and
them.
they fell into that AD thing. Like they just happened to be guys they traded for because they were super young.
Yes, and the other thing too is with difference between the Lakers and the Nets. Yes, the Lakers got a lot of their bench, but they replenished that bench.
Right. Well,
I mean, look what they have
look at the
now on
bench
the
now. I
bench.
think the best depth and best bench in the league.
Yeah, we always said, Lakers or Nets, what step do you want? I'd say the Lakers definitely have a much better depth than the Nets now.
Oh, right now, definitely. And even before the Harden trade, I'd say yes. Every night, you pointed this out last time we talked. Every night there's a new guy, whether it's with Matthews or who's that? Who's the 21-year-old kid?
Or
THC is it? What's his name?
THT,
THT. There you go. It's always a new guy on the bench. Montrezl Howell
or
sometimes.
Harold. Sometimes Kuzma steps up.
Exactly. There's always someone on there that when AD and LeBron have their night off, like they're not going to perform like AD and LeBron should, they step up, and it's a big reason why you guys win games. Let me
Yeah,
give you. Good. Sorry.
yeah. Sorry to cut you off, but Wes Matthews, who's been injured, Harold and THT have picked up the slate
That's
from him
exactly what I'm
since he's been
saying,
at.
dude. That's what I'm saying. There's always someone there to pick up the slack. That's the kind of
Yeah.
depth teams dream about. So New York strip clubs are happy that they have James Harden. Well, I mean it's true. It's all he really cares about. And there's one positive to come out of this. It's with Jared Allen gone, and hopefully we're seeing Nick Claxton come back next week like he's supposed to. We're gonna see a lot of playing time for him. And as time goes on, and if he's playing, or if he lives up to the hype, and if he's playing better than DeAndre Jordan, Nick Claxton needs to take time away from DeAndre Jordan. Because if you watch 5 minutes of DeAndre Jordan play center, it's brutal. You want him off the team. The only reason he's here is because of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And I can't stand watching him. But Nick Claxton coming back is probably the only positive to come out of this trade. And I do want to make this clear, dude. I'm not going to root against Harden. I'm not going to
Mhm.
root for him to fail. I want the team to win. I want to win a championship. But it doesn't mean I don't have to like the trade.
I, I totally understand it, and don't worry, kids. We're gonna try and keep it PG. Joe was a little out of control today.
Wait till we get to.
You gotta calm down.
This is what
Calm
happens when
down.
you host. I get to go a little off the rails.
Gotta calm down. Gotta calm down. But we're gonna move into a different part of the Nets. Is that Joe? What you think about the Battle of New York, the Knicks and Nets? I start the Nets perspective first. That was a good win with the shortened roster.
Yes, and don't let the score fool you, because the Knicks scored a lot of garbage time points. Let's let that be clear. With 5 minutes to go, the Nets were up 26.
It got a little interesting.
It got interesting to the point Kevin Durant actually had to come back in the game. But the Knicks got outclassed. They fouled too much, turned the ball over too much. And I got to tell you, Obi Toppin doesn't look great. Kevin Knox, what's new, doesn't look great. RJ Barrett can't shoot. The Knicks are in some deep, deep trouble, dude. As for the Nets, listen, you play the Knicks, you get a win. A little too close for comfort at the end there, but you come out with a win, especially when they were struggling. That kind of got them going. So in a way, I was okay with the close scoring, but
The one thing I would say for the Knicks is that they do at least try hard and compete, and they do play defense. That's the one thing I would say about them.
that's the positive Thibodeau. He's a great coach so far.
And they're right around 500 right now, which is another positive.
Well, dude, they got off to the hot start, but they're starting to come back down to earth.
They did,
Am I
but
right?
in
Yeah.
that Eastern Conference with that top 10 teams, they could possibly make a play-in spot.
I guess. I mean, I can find
It's
teams that
not
are better
great
than
down
them.
there.
No,
I mean, it's certainly weaker than the West.
oh, yeah, sure. That's the West is completely weak, dude. I know the Lakers are good, but every time they play someone from the West, it's like it's not even a close game. I thought the other day, like, how does Trevor sit down and watch these games when they're up 30? Like,
Oh,
how
it's
does he
fun
do it?
then. It's fun then,
You get to go
But
to bed early. You don't have to stay up and watch the games.
yeah, remember they played the Thunder, who are in rebuilding mode.
Mm-hmm.
They played the Spurs, who were.
That's what I'm saying. Every other day, it's like, hey, we're playing OKC, we're playing the Spurs, and we're playing Houston. Who, yeah, have you played anyone else yet?
We played the Clippers
Once. Was it
once.
twice? I don't know if it was once, twice.
Once we played the Suns.
Mm-hmm.
We won that. We played the Bulls.
We're having some
So
COVID troubles, actually.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I said, I think it's just the way the schedule goes. You
Mm-hmm.
play the easy teams early. You play the
No, they got lucky though. They're getting lucky though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're a good team. Like I said, 12-out championship teams
Mhm.
win the games that you're supposed to win.
Right. And coming off the championship, you expect some sort of slow start. Not for
Not
the
so
Lakers.
far.
Not for the Lakers. I give them that. They fight.
Yeah. So
I'm waiting for this
enough
transition.
basketball.
Here we go. Let's see it.
Enough basketball talk. We're gonna move into football.
Okay.
Divisional round. Joe, any first impressions or things you want to talk about?
For none of the game, not for a specific game, just league wide, because I know we're gonna break down all 4 games. League wide, I want to see more teams go for it on 4th and 2 and 4th and 1. I don't know what got into the NFL coaches who lost last week, but for some reason they love to punt the ball. I don't know if it's because the punter wanted to play in a playoff game. I don't know what the deal was, but let's go for it on 4th and 2 and 4th and 1 and 4th and short.
Tomorrow, 4:35, we got Rams at Packers, and this is normally my expertise, but now since you're not the host, I got to ask you, what do you think the line is since you're playing guess the spread this time?
Okay. I'm gonna say Packers are like 6.5.
You got it, man. 6.5.
Yeah, that's the 1 for 1 in my career.
So the over/under is 45.5, and that is the lowest over/under. Obviously, the cold conditions and
And the Rams defense.
Lambeau. They're gonna have fans, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have a number on how many fans they're gonna have?
It was low. I think it was actually 300.
300?
I think it was short. It was really low. Yeah.
Wow.
I could be wrong, but I think it was 300.
So if that's the case, that I don't know how much of a difference that would make.
Right.
But Joe, do you think the Rams have a path to victory in this game?
Oh, definitely. And it relies on Jalen Ramsey covering Devontae Adams. This is like the undercard. I told you this Monday. It's the undercard for the Ravens-Bills game, for the Chiefs-Browns game, and Tom Brady and Drew Brees with the Saints and the Bucks. It's the undercard, but that is the number one thing I'm looking forward to. Is the Rams defense now fully replenished? Aaron Donald's back, so he's going to be giving Aaron Rodgers some trouble. But contain Devontae Adams, contain Aaron Rodgers, and I think the Rams have a legit shot to win today. What about you?
Well, I do think the Rams have a shot to win. And the other question I have is that the Packers defense, do you think they're up to the task?
Against Jared Goff, yes. If it was against any other team, no. I am not high on Jared Goff, you know that. But as the days have gone on, as the Rams have gotten healthier, there's a sneaky suspicion that the Rams might go into Lambeau and take this game. Remember I told you Monday, the Rams defense travels.
They do.
Right? I mean,
they do. And, that's why the over-under is low. I think it could be a really close game, people than expected. So I think it's a good game. And, Joe, give me your prediction. What do you think here?
Rams, Packers. I got the Packers still, but...
You taking the points?
I will. I'd pick at the spread?
Yeah, you have to say.
Okay, I'm not doing... Okay, no, I don't think it'll be 6. I got the Rams then, but I think the Packers win the game outright.
I have the same thing. I take the Rams points. I think the Packers win, 16-13, something like that.
Okay, so 16-13, so definitely low scoring. That's the under, right?
That's the under, yeah.
Okay. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
This is the best game of the week, and this is my... I know you had the Ravens. Can I open this game?
Sure.
Okay, sorry, I wanted to take this away from you. Ravens, Bills. I don't even know what the spread is. What's the spread at?
Bills are 2.5.
Bills are 2.5. Okay, so has that
It
moved
was
all
at 3 though.
has that moved all week?
It was at 3 when we talked on Monday. So
Okay, so it has gone a little more in the Ravens' favor. But this is the game of the weekend, dude. Two of the most exciting and electrifying quarterbacks in the league going at it in apparently snowy Buffalo. And by the way, do you hear that narrative that Lamar Jackson can't play in the snow? It's such a stupid argument.
well, that's why the over under is only at 49 right now.
That's fine with the over on there. But all week, like, Lamar Jackson has to travel to Buffalo and play in the snow. Who cares?
He plays in the cold too. He plays in
I
Baltimore.
get it, but he runs half the time. He runs 21 times a game. He's
And you
basically a
can
running
throw in
back.
and you can throw in the snow a little bit. I mean, I don't know what they're calling for. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be a whiteout or something like that.
No, it's good. I heard it's like an inch or two. It's not even gonna snow a lot.
Yeah, again, I don't know. I haven't looked at the weather. I don't know what the meteorologists are calling
Dude,
for up there. But
once I heard them say possible snow in Buffalo, the narrative changed from Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, hottest team in football, to how is Lamar? Can he handle the snow in Buffalo? The 1 inch of snow that's gonna pour down in snowy Buffalo, New York. I'm like, what are we doing here? But
I
anyway,
agree. Now,
go ahead.
the one thing I think that could change is that maybe with a little bit of snow, it could maybe bring the score down just a little bit.
Maybe. I mean, you still have two of the best offenses in the league.
Yes.
And for the Bills, Stephon Diggs is back. Cole Beasley is back. They've been limited in practice this week, and I believe they're on track to play. Correct me if I'm wrong. But
I haven't
Josh
heard anything
Allen's
to
getting
that
his
point.
2 top targets back.
Yeah, and this is a really good game. And Joe, a question for you is that give me one key for Ravens to win, one key for the Bills to win.
Ravens' key is hold Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley. There's going to be some extreme stress on that secondary. I know they can handle it, but they need to if they want to win. I trust Lamar Jackson. That's fine. I know he has a tough task against the Bills defense, but contain the receivers and hold the secondary for Baltimore. What about you? Give me something for you.
Well, the one thing I would say, I'm going to give one for the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Contain Lamar Jackson. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
And don't have these Raven drives that take a lot of time, which they can do sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Because that really drains the defense out. You got to keep
Right.
your defense off the field against them.
Right, and that's true. That could be a key. When I was looking at the Ravens secondary, I couldn't help but see that Marcus Peters didn't practice at some point this week. Is he on track to play?
As of right now, I haven't heard that he's not going to play.
Here, hold this up. I'm going to go look it up.
Joe is looking it up right now with his phenomenal technology.
My phenomenal computer. Ravens
Yes,
injury report. Here we go. Marcus Peters limited practice Thursday. He didn't practice all week until today or yesterday. His game status is questionable, so he's on track to play.
I think he will play, if you ask me.
I do too, and it's a playoff game. Even if you're like 70% in a playoff game, they're gonna push you to play. It's the end of the year. You're gonna push through it. So what we got here? I got the Bills.
I have the Ravens here plus 2.5. I'm gonna say Ravens win 28-21, something like that.
It was a tough game, dude. It's a really good one, but I wouldn't be shocked if any one of these teams win. I have Buffalo win the Super Bowl actually, but
two Super Bowl picks go head to head.
I know, and one of us has to be disappointed, of course. But I told you, what was it, last Thursday, 8 days ago from today, that these were the two hottest teams going into the playoffs, and they won last week. They're going to keep going here, and it's just, it might be the best playoff game of the year, maybe with the exception of the Super Bowl, whoever the teams are. But this right here, if you want to look back in a couple weeks and say, what was the best playoff game to take place? Bills-Ravens.
Well, Joe, now it will be a blowout, so thanks for that. I appreciate it. Thanks for ruining it for everybody.
I'm sorry, dude. Sorry.
No, sorry. But anyway, let's move the page to Sunday, 3 o'clock. Browns at Chiefs. What do you think the line in this game is?
Browns, Chiefs. I mean, last I saw was Chiefs 10.
And it's still at 10.
Okay.
And do you see a Browns path to victory here?
Yes, I do. I actually do because you have the two premier offenses here, and people are taking the win against Cleveland last week.
You mean Steelers?
Steelers, sorry. Well, the win against the Steelers, like 50-50. Some guys think, or some people, I shouldn't say guys, but some people are saying that's a key win. They're going to go on a deep playoff run, or that's a one-time thing. They got their one playoff win in the last 25 years. Back to the basement they go. For me, it's not going to be easy. Like I said, you got the two premier offenses in the league, and they broke that 25-year-old playoff win drought last week, and they're gaining momentum, and they're actually getting healthier. Denzel Ward is back. The coach is back. Some other Browns players are back off the COVID list, so they're getting healthier. But is it enough to contain Mahomes, Kelsey, and Tyreek Hill, Trevor?
It's a big task, I'll tell you that. And I think I don't know if they're gonna win it, but I think it'll be closer than people expected.
The over-under I saw was like at 56.5.
57, yeah.
57. Dude, I could totally see some team in this game scoring 40-plus points. Whether it's the Browns or Kansas City. There's going to be no defense here. It's going to be an absolute shootout. Whoever can score the most... I mean, this is a generic comment. Whoever can score the most points is going to win. But it's going to be who can hold up with the other team. Who can get to 45 first. It's going to be a game like that. And Cleveland's got plenty of weapons of their own. Because like I mentioned, Kelsey, Tyreek Hill, and Mahomes to you. Don't forget about this lethal Cleveland running back duo. With the receiving back with Nick Chubb. The receiving back with Kareem Hunt. The actual running back with Nick Chubb. The Browns are not going to lay down and die, and don't think they will. It's going to be a close game all the way to the end.
Prediction?
Chiefs. I still have the Chiefs. As much as I love the Browns, you just can't compete. You can't go to Arrowhead and win a playoff game against Mahomes and Andy Reid. It's just impossible.
I say Chiefs win 42-34.
So you have it as a one-possession game.
Yeah.
See, I don't know if it's going to be one possession, but 40. You said 44 for the Chiefs or 42?
No, 42-34.
42 is definitely possible. And I could see like a 42-28. I'll put that. If I had to give you a prediction, an actual score prediction, I'll give you that. But 42-28 seems about right. One team is definitely going to break 40 points. No question about it.
All right, and that brings us to what I think is the game of the week. Bucks at Saints, Breeze and Brady. What a game. Joe, what do you think the line is?
Hold on, I got to address this. Are you only saying it's game of the week because both quarterbacks are 40 years old?
No, I just think it's a very interesting matchup to me.
Why?
Well, I think, the Bucks got hammered both games. And, the Bucks offense has been a lot better. I'm just curious, can Tom Brady go in and beat Drew Brees in his own house?
The answer is yes, he can, by the way. But
Thanks,
we'll spoil that. Go ahead, start us off here.
But what do you think the spread is in the game?
Saints 4.5?
Saints by a field goal.
Field goal, okay. See,
so
I still like the Bucks. Go ahead. Sorry.
So, Joe, my question would be to you is that can the Bucks defense, which is a little shaky, can they contain the Saints offense?
Yes, definitely. Look at the way Drew Brees played against Chicago last week. He only scored 21 points. I know Chicago's defense is a strong side. I know it's pretty good, but that's a putrid Bears team, dude. And they only scored 10 points and a touchdown in garbage time, so it's really only like 3 points. That is a putrid team. To only get 21, or was it 21 or 28?
21.
I think it was 21, yeah. Only get 21 points there. I mean, come on. You can't compete with the Bucks like that in any team in the AFC. You cannot compete with any one of the remaining teams in the AFC by scoring 21 points. You can't compete with the Packers. Maybe the Rams if the Rams win. But it's things like that that lead me to believe that Tampa Bay can win. Now, I'm starting to think about it. Tampa Bay last week against Washington, remember we talked about it, held Washington's running. Remember 36 handoffs to Antonio Gibson and J.D. McKissick for like 60 yards. It was something crazy like that. They held into an absurd amount of rushing yards. I'm not saying they're going to do it with Alvin Kamara, because Alvin Kamara and Antonio Gibson, different animals. But if they can contain Alvin Kamara, and that's the key here, is Alvin Kamara. If they can contain him and they can score, I don't know, as much as they have in the last couple games. Last 4 games, they scored over 120 points. Okay, that should say something. If they can keep that up, Buccaneers are on the way to the NFC Championship game.
Now, can the Saints defense contain the Bucks offense?
Probably not. I really don't. Over the last 4 games, like I said, 120 plus points. There's no way to stop Tampa Bay and Tom Brady right now. I can't find anyone who can stop him. Look at the stress that Tampa Bay is going to put on the Saints corners and the Saints secondary. Look at it. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski. It's too much to handle.
I agree with you, and it could be a shootout, but we'll see. The Bucks have been playing very well. You got to give them that. Joe, can you give me a final score prediction in this game?
Bucks, I'll say Bucks. Hey. I'll say 35-25.
35-25 for Joe. I am going to go with a Bucks win too. I'm going to say, 35-31, something like that.
35-31. So again, a 1-possession game.
So,
And you think the Saints actually break 30 points?
I do. I hope that people hope my predictions come true, because that means, good games all around for the whole weekend.
No, that's true. There's just no way in my mind that I could see New Orleans breaking 30 points. They barely get to 25 in my head. They might get a garbage time touchdown to get
never count out Drew Brees.
I am counting. Also, to put a little chip on Drew Brees' shoulder, this might be his last game if he loses.
Yeah, so you never count him out, man.
I won't. All right, that's fair.
All right, now we're gonna continue with the NFL. Different front now for the NFL. A couple of coaching hirings, two in particular that are really interesting. And since we're a New York-based team, we're going to start with this one. Joe, what is your reaction to the Jets' new hiring?
Oh, I love it. And when it broke last night, I think it broke around like a little after 10 o'clock. Were you still up for that?
I was still up for that.
All right. So me being me, every night I usually start at 7, but last night after the Ranger game, after that embarrassment, if you want to touch on that, I'd love to give you a couple words on that later. But
we're gonna get to that.
Okay, good. So I normally at night I'll listen to the Fan, and one of my favorites, John Jastrzemski, was on, and it happened as he was on the air. So of course, for the rest of the hour and a half he had allotted to him on his radio show, Jet fans called it, and one by one, Jet fans called in. And they were enthusiastic, man. They were enthusiastic on those phone lines on the Fan, on Twitter Day. Every Jet fan I've seen, every Jet fan I've talked to, loves this hire.
I like the hire too. I think he's a defense coach. What if he did in San Francisco? I think he's going to fix that defense up. I think it's a great hiring. And he comes in, and he's got a very tough first task. Does he get a new quarterback?
I'd love to talk about that in 1 second. I have the number, though, to what you just said about him turning around that defense. He went in there with the 49ers defense being ranked 32, and that's dead last. Yeah. And then when he left last year, they were top 5. In 2 years, that's an incredible turnaround. Now, as for the quarterback, this is something I've been thinking about way before they hired Robert Saleh to be the coach. And with the hiring, and as I got to thinking, if the hype is real, if this guy is what everyone thinks he'll be, dude, I think they got to keep Sam. You have all this draft capital. You have the number 2 pick. You might be able to trade down if you don't want a quarterback and get more draft capital. And here is the key. If Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas fall in love with a quarterback, like let's say they love Justin Fields, which I made it clear I don't. Let's say they love Justin Fields, or they love Zach Wilson. Then go ahead and take one. If you find your guy, take him. But if you're not in love with one, keep Sam Darnold.
Well, my thing is that if they trade down to a certain spot and you got to be, they can still get a quarterback and get draft capital.
Sure. It depends what quarterback you want, though. Are you really that high on Mac Wilson or Kyle Trask?
No, but you can still get a Trey Lance or Zach Wilson.
But maybe they don't like any quarterback here besides Wilson. It's extremely possible.
I'm just saying if they like a couple of quarterbacks, they can still do that.
Definitely. If they don't, I'll make it even simpler. If they don't like Justin Fields, they're going to trade down.
Absolutely.
I'm going to pull up the draft order because there are a couple teams here that might want to move up to get a Justin Fields.
How about the Patriots?
See, you're going down to 15 there. You're not getting a Trey Lance at 15. I'm thinking more of like Atlanta or Detroit. Maybe even Carolina wants a quarterback.
Denver,
Denver, maybe. But even 9 might be too
the
far down.
Giants.
Hey! I know you're hosting the show, but we're not doing this. I am not arguing with you about quarterbacks, dude. I'm not doing it. But no, but even like 9 where Denver is too far. The ideal trade for me, move down to 7, give Detroit the number 2 pick, and are we going in this fantasy that they like a quarterback or don't like a quarterback?
Well, I was doing my fantasy, and I actually had the Jets trading with the Lions, and the Lions getting Justin Fields, and the Jets getting Trey Lance.
So you still have the Jets taking a quarterback.
Yes,
I'm
I
gonna
was
go. Go ahead.
my fantasy, my mock draft is on. I'm in the works on it. So
And we will have an actual like we're gonna start doing like weekly mock drafts. I don't know about weekly, but ever so often we might
starting
start.
after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and we might even do it the week before the Super Bowl because there's not
Yeah.
gonna be any football games to break down. That February 1st show, we might do like an early mock draft, and as we get closer, of course, they're gonna do a ton on it. But I'm gonna go pick by pick here and tell you if the Jets were to trade down, what I think would happen. Okay. So the Jaguars are going to get Lawrence with Urban Meyer, who I'm sure you want to touch on in a few minutes, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the Jets will trade down with the Lions. The Lions will take Justin Fields. Here's where I'm split. What do the Dolphins do? Do you want a tackle or do you want a playmaker? I think you got to go with Devonta Smith right here. The Dolphins need a number 1 receiver. What are you thinking about that?
I think so.
Do you think the Dolphins could trade down?
No, I think they have to stay with it.
But who do they take? Do you want the Seawall guy or you want Smith? Or someone else? Maybe you like Jamar Chase. What do you like?
I would take Smith.
All right, so the Dolphins at 3 take Smith. For the Falcons, will take. I think the Falcons might go quarterback. I'm going to give him Zach Wilson. Sewell go to Cincinnati. I like Jamar Chase in Philly. I think he's fit for Philly. And then the Jets down at 7. You could go at Trey Lance, like I said. You see, now that I'm thinking about it, Micah Parsons. See, I don't know if I want to do that. I think for the Jets, they need to stay. If they're not going to move down, they need to stay at 2. But if they are, you got to go down to 4 because you need to get either Sewell or Smith if you're not taking a quarterback.
Right. That's Joe's fantasy land right now. But the other head coaching hiring is that. What's your thoughts about the Urban Meyer thing?
Oh, I want to get your thoughts. What do you think the Jets should do?
Oh, my thoughts.
Yeah, yeah. You have to. I know you're hosting. You still have to give your opinion. I want to hear what you have to think.
I don't know yet. We have to see how to. It's still too early to tell.
You have time to think.
I don't know yet. To be truthfully honest, 50-50.
Okay, we're good.
But what's your thoughts about the Urban Meyer to Jacksonville?
I love this, and I know we talked about it on Monday, but do you think there's any chance he takes Justin Fields because of his connection with Ohio State?
Very, very small, in my opinion.
I think he went to Jacksonville to take Trevor Lawrence, and he said it today that going to Jacksonville, one of the number 1 reasons was because they had the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Makes a ton of sense.
I agree.
So,
and we'll see if he can turn around this team. It'll be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the coaching hirings, or the few that are interesting. But we're going to turn now to the ice and rinks and stadiums and arenas. And Joe, I understand you had a pretty embarrassing moment with your crosstown rival, the Islanders, last night. But what is your expectations for this season?
Score a goal.
Well, no. Like real season expectations.
Okay, no, you want to be realistic. Okay. I think they need to sneak into the playoffs. They got in the Atlantic 8 or the East 8 this year. 4 teams are going to make it. You got to be one of those 4 teams, in my opinion. I know they're super young, and you saw it last night. Lafreniere's 19 years old. Keandre Smith's 20. I think half or more than half the players are under 25 years old. Now, there's going to be some struggles, but there's no reason to be one of the best 4 teams in that division this year.
It's a tough division. There's no.
I think it's tougher than hockey this year.
Yeah. So, but are you saying that it's if they don't make the playoffs, it's a failure?
No, I don't think so. I think they should sneak in, but if they don't, I'm not going to hold it against them. Again, they have players who are 19 years old in this team.
Would you be disappointed if they didn't make it?
Of course, I'm disappointed every time my team doesn't make the playoffs. But if I'm going to be realistic, if they're in it at the end, if they're playing 500 hockey, and until the last 4 or 5 games they're in a playoff race, I'm happy. I won't be happy at the time, but in a few years when I'm looking back on the 2021 season, which we'll never forget, I'm going to say, you know what? For the average age of those guys, for the young players, for the head coach, I think David Quinn's the future head coach of the team, to be honest with you. For
All
all of
right.
that, I think be competitive. That's my expectation.
Well,
What
we'll
about, what
see.
about, what about your Canucks? Have you watched any of the games so far?
I have, it's I think it's gonna be hard to split teams when you play them back to back.
Mm-hmm.
But I was happy with the performance the first night. The second night,
Not so
what are you
much.
gonna do? What are you gonna do? Conor McDavid's just a freak. You
He had a
can't.
hat trick.
Yeah, I mean, you can't control that. I mean, the
Uh-huh.
guy's just unguardable.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
So things gonna happen. The guy's just that good. But a lot of young talent. New draft guys coming. Same thing as the Rangers, except maybe a little farther down the
No, you
line.
guys are further down the line. You had a good playoff run last year. You
Yeah,
guys have a little more expectation than we did.
yeah. I would say the expectation this year is get into the playoffs and at least win one playoff round.
Right.
So that would be a little bit more than the Rangers.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
So, Joe, another. Now we're switching to the diamond. Now we're going back and forth here.
We've hit all 4 sports.
Yes, might be a record. Might be a record.
That's what I call a Friday show.
Yes.
Mondays are like we have a scheduled show, so we gotta break down football games every Monday. But when we get to Thursday and Friday, all the gloves are off. We talk about what we want, and you'll see at the end what we're talking about. Wait till you see that.
Yeah, Joe, thanks for picking such a great week for me to go on. I really appreciate it.
I was picking your week. I'm sorry, I'm gonna spoil this. I didn't want to pick I didn't pick a Monday because I don't want to say they're important, but we had something planned Monday. I wanted to find a week where we didn't have anything planned, and back in December when I first won, this looked like a good week to do it.
It really turned out to be a good week.
It's a great week. I told you I was looking forward to the show all day.
Yeah. But first, let's start out since we're a New York-based team. We got the good news this morning. I woke up and I saw DJ LeMahieu re-signing with the Yankees, 6-year, $90 million deal. Joe, your thoughts on the deal?
Let me give you a background first. So, I got to start school at 7:30, and I was home today. So, me being me, a 7:30 Google Meet room means I get up at 7:25. That's how I roll. I don't know how.
See, I'm the opposite.
Okay, so I know you're an early bird. So you were probably up. Were you up when this broke at 6:00?
Oh, I get up. I'm supposed to go to school 8:10.
Okay.
That's right. I'm up 6:15, 6:30 every day.
Okay. Even weekends?
Weekends 7:00.
Oh no, he goes crazy with himself. He sleeps in. Okay, no, but so when I got up at 7:25, I had 2 text messages. One was from my fantasy baseball group chat, and one was from Trevor. And I looked at the fantasy baseball group chat first because I didn't think Trevor had anything important to say at 7:30 in the morning. I'm sorry, Trevor, but I did text you late last night, so I was just expecting an answer from what I said about. I think I said something about Harden. I forget, but I opened the fantasy baseball chat, and someone in my league, Hunter, if he's listening, he gets a shout out. Hunter, he goes, "Wow, we actually got DJ back." So I'm still half asleep here. I'm like, what is he talking about? Is he close, or did they say something? Then I go to you, and you go, "We got him." I'm like, what is he talking about? I go on Twitter, first tweet, Sean Morosi. The Yankees are close to finalizing their deal. At 7:25 in the morning when I'm half asleep, I shot up. I had that smile on my face walking down the stairs and into the kitchen to get some breakfast. It was that kind of morning.
It was. You know what? He's probably going to retire as a Yankee. He's 32.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, you think 38, maybe, probably, you're most likely. But, Joe, after months of waiting and, what's going to happen, this, that, it is finally over. Cashman finally woke up.
Right, and it was annoying that it took all this time. But this move had to be made. And let's call it like it is. I'm sorry. Let's call it like it is. He's their best player. And without him, they couldn't have done anything they did over the past 2 years. I know last year, this 2020 season is a little iffy. It'll go down in the record books. Does it count? Does it not count? He played an instrumental role in how far the Yankees got.
Yeah, and the other thing I would say is I think the Yankees got lucky with a pandemic, because if this would have happened, waiting like this, I don't think in a normal year this would have happened.
In a regular year, he was getting somewhere around $25 million, if you ask me. That's $10 million off of what he actually got. Now, For Divisional LeMahieu to be 32 years old and be a free agent, that's risky in baseball. Because as
It is.
time has gone over these past couple of years, you've seen that teams are not willing to pay older superstars. So, with the pandemic struck near, with everything that's gone on with Major League Baseball free agency, it's been slow to begin with over the past couple of years, but this year especially slow. DJ looking in the future at 38 years old, did he say, I'm going to have a hard time finding work at 36 or 37 if I took a 4 or 5 year deal? Let me get some more security and I'll take less money. That way I'm secure and I have a job for the next 6 years. Do you think that played a factor in it?
I think it definitely played a factor in it.
Mm-hmm.
No question about it. And Yankee fans out there, Yankee Nation, you know,
Rejoice.
finally, yes. Now we had a couple other signings too. It wasn't just LeMahieu. The bigger signing earlier in the week was, what do you think about the Liam Hendricks 3-year deal?
Here, with relief pitchers, I have no problem with good relief pitchers being paid, but my instant reaction to it was like, wow, $54 million guaranteed is a lot. And I think of Liam Hendricks the top 5 reliever in baseball. But here's the counter argument. In his 10-year career, he's had 1.5 good years of being a dominant closer. Right? In 2019, his good career started. That's 8 years into his career.
I
So
agree.
the White Sox clearly think he'll be just like he was these past couple years for the next 3 or 4 years. But the concern for him and the concern of 99.9 relievers in this league is, what is next year going to bring? Because you've seen it all over the league. Relievers have a great 1 year or a great 2 years, and the next year they're horrific and they fall off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
There are only 3 guys or 4 guys that I put on, you can count with your fingers, that I put on my list of automatics. Aroldis Chapman, Ryan Presley in Houston, Zach Britton, and Milwaukee's Josh Hader. Those are the only 4 guys that night in and night out I can count on, and every year I can rely on to have a 30-plus saves and an ERA somewhere in the twos. Every year, they're automatic. Also, Brad Hand, but he's unsigned, so I didn't want to add him.
Yeah, that's when we're with the Mets right now and all that. So we thought he was signed, but as of right now, he's still technically a free agent.
Technically, it's close though. They say that yes.
Yes. Another signing I want to get to is that how about the Mets signing Jose Martinez to a 1-year deal?
Under the radar. And he's a lefty killer, dude. Kills lefties. Right? Am I right? It's like he's a great pinch hitter, and depending on what they do with the National League, depending on what they do with the DH in the National League, he's a great pinch hitter.
I heard they're gonna have universal DH this year. That's only rumored, so don't go what I said. That's all I heard.
See, I saw this. It was my heart breaks for these kind of things because
I love the universal DH.
It's not even the universal DH. They're talking about 7-inning doubleheaders, runner on second, expanded postseason.
The 7-inning doubleheaders expanded postseason, but I do like the runner on second.
Okay, so let's have this conversation now. If you want to go that way, you know I'm a big proponent of the pitcher hitting, right? You know I love that.
Yes.
We're not going to have that debate right now, but I do like it. Okay. You know what's worse than that?
What?
Runner on second, extra innings.
I'm saying now, don't start it in the 10th inning. Maybe start it in the 11th or 12th.
How about 15th?
No. How about I'll give you 12? How about that?
No, I'm 14.
I'll give you 12.
I love on a summer night when the Yankees, I don't know, whoever they're playing, there's a classic game that goes 13 or 14 innings. There's nothing better than that.
I get you, but the runner on second makes it more interesting, but I don't want it in the postseason now.
It really doesn't. And the plan was that it would bring back bunting. It didn't. How many bunts were put down with the runner on second base? 3? If that. That didn't work. So what is the point of it?
I agree.
But you see what I'm saying here? What is the point of it?
It creates action.
So, okay, now they're worried about action. They won't add a pitch clock, but they're worried about action at 11:30 at night.
Look, I agree with you with the bunting. That's ridiculous. With the bunting.
That was the big thing. That's what I was told is, don't worry, they're gonna bring back bunting with it.
I never was a proponent. I was a proponent of, look at this guy on second. New kind of baseball. That's the thing I was more excited about, not about the bunting.
But he didn't get on second base. He's there just to start inning. That's not how it works.
But that's the exciting part.
Imagine overtime, a team was allowed to go off sides and have a receiver standing 20 yards down.
But that's different. That's
how? It's the same thing. You start with the guy on second base.
Yeah, but people have gotten out of it before, so I'm just saying, it's different.
Why is it an issue now for the games to end quicker, but they won't add a 20-second pitch clock?
That should be added too.
I think a 20-second pitch clock would be awesome. I think it would solve everything if it's enforced.
I
I
think it
don't
should
get
be
why
added.
people don't like a pitch clock, and I understand clocks don't belong in baseball. This is not a game clock. This is a pitch clock. All it's doing is keeping a steady pace in the game, and I think in the long run it'll be beneficial.
I agree.
Now, also, let me add this. I don't know if you want to say anything else on it. Expanded playoffs in 162 game is ridiculous.
I hate it.
Oh my god, I hate it in the 60 games, and I'm gonna hate it more in 162 games.
The only thing I would change is that don't add the same teams. Keep it the way it is to one wild card. Except have the wild card series be 3 games. Add games, not teams.
You want to add more games?
Yeah, so I'm saying make the wild card best out of 3.
No, see, I'm gonna compromise here with you. Maybe you like this. You ever hear the Japanese wild card?
What's that?
So, it's 2 teams in the better team's ballpark. So let's use 2 teams. Let's say it's the Yankees and Red Sox, okay?
Yeah.
The Yankees were the better team. They're gonna host the game against the Red Sox. If the Red Sox or if the Yankees win, they go to the next round. They go to the playoffs. If the Red Sox win, they have to play one more game the next night, and the winner of that moves on.
I'll give you a compromise.
Let's hear it.
It's the best out of 3 straight, but all 3 games are at the better team's place.
See, I think it's just too long. That's too much of a layoff for the 1 seed. Layoffs are not good in baseball. You gotta remember that.
I understand that.
It's got to be a short thing. You know what I'm saying? It can't be.
I get that.
We give the 1 seed a week off. That's not good for baseball. That's not good for baseball
I get
teams.
that. So, a discussion for another day.
Definitely. So we got 2 more things, right? Because you said you had a surprise for me, right?
Well, the surprise for you is that the surprise is actually tied into the last thing, so
Okay.
it's technically one. So I was thinking to myself, saying, I have all the power now. This is my show, and I figured,
it's a dangerous thing.
yeah, well, it really is. And I was thinking, Joe kind of put this punishment on me, so I'm not gonna let him get off the hook here. I'm gonna have to, he's gonna have to at least get some punishment, Figure doing this, and that was your big fear, is that,
What a guy.
Your big fear was like, I'm not gonna get off the hook this entirely.
So
That
what
was
is
your big fear?
my biggest
So-
fear?
So your big fear was I'm gonna make new topics on the show, and it did happen.
Supposedly. Let's see where this goes.
So we're gonna have a new segment. I didn't tell you this before. Here, a new segment on the show. You will be doing hockey. Is that
Okay.
fair enough?
Okay.
That hasn't gone crazy yet, right?
Easy enough. Yeah. I like this.
I like this. This is my point now. You see, I am a very weird kid in some ways. Just the way I am. Would you say that, Joe?
Well, I don't know you personally too much. I only met you for like 5 days in person, but we've talked on the phone twice a week for the last 6 months, so I think I've gotten to know you pretty well.
Yeah.
I don't know if weird's the right word, but okay, go on.
How about I have different methods? How about that?
You have very different opinions that I can't fathom sometimes.
But that's what makes a great show.
It's awesome.
So I am going to be doing a very, what's the word I like to use here?
Foreign, crazy,
off the walls.
Okay.
So every Thursday, an exception for 2 Saturdays in March, there is a. Are you still with me here?
I'm listening.
No laughing. No laughing. No laughing.
Come on. Should I mute myself?
No. It's okay. So every Thursday, I have this big World Cup carnival, and there's no carnival there, by the way. There's no Ferris wheels.
You got to mention where it is.
It's in Dubai. Hey.
Go ahead.
And there's no carnivals, by the way. There's no Ferris wheels.
Yeah, I was shocked. I didn't see a roller coaster here. I thought I'd see
it's just called that. I don't know why.
I thought I would see like a horse on a roller coaster.
You can call up the race course and ask them. I didn't make it. So this goes on. Normally it starts 2 weeks earlier, but of the pandemic they made it 2 weeks back because of quarantine, whatever the situation is. So The carnival starts next Thursday, like 6 days from today,
The horse race.
and hey, and goes for 6 consecutive Thursdays or 5, whatever, and then Super Saturday is the dress rehearsal
Woohoo!
for the horses,
Do they put
and
on
then
skirts?
no,
Okay.
and then hey, by the way, here, and then the Dubai World Cup goes for $12 million. So we got some
Oh,
serious
okay,
money.
okay. Now I'm interested. 20 million. Okay.
It's 12 million.
12. Okay. I'm interested
So
now.
you know, hey, and you know, the lowest purse money or race money is 68,000. That's some serious money right there,
That's a lot of money right there.
and that's in U.S. dollars. It's not in foreign money.
Foreign. You know where Dubai is?
Well, I understand that. Well,
No, I'm asking you, where the heck is Dubai? Is it
you never
India?
heard of you never heard of United Arab Emirates,
Okay, so it's there. Okay, I know what that is.
UAE? Right next to Saudi Arabia.
Got it.
That
So
you
Middle East.
understand now.
Got
So that's what we will be doing for the next 6 or 7 weeks.
it. So this isn't a one-time punishment. This is a weekly thing until
This is a
baseball
weekly
season.
punishment. So
So you're telling me for the next 8 weeks, you're gonna talk about a carnival in Dubai?
well, first of all, let me tell you. Here's what we have the list here of where the horses are coming from, and I'm
A
going to
couple
tell you
Americans
all the.
actually.
What do you say?
There are a couple Americans.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you. So we have U.S. horses. I'm going to tell you all the other lists here that we have. All right,
Okay.
and you're going to be shocked for a pandemic year how much we get. So I'm going to tell you the list right now.
All right.
UK, France, Sweden, Uruguay, Ireland. What else we got here? UAE, obviously.
America.
I said US
Okay.
already. Australia,
Mm-hmm.
Bahrain, Peru, Denmark, Germany.
12.
Who else have we got here? Did I say Peru? I said Peru.
You said Peru.
So, yeah. So for a pandemic year, that's not bad.
You
You
have
have all those countries?
13 countries.
That's not bad.
Okay. Okay.
You gotta give them a lot of credit for that to get the same. So we have
So
a lot of
when do the horses go onto the roller coasters?
that doesn't happen here.
Why not? It's a carnival.
Well, I don't know why it's called again. You can call it the race course and ask them why.
I don't think they understand my language.
Well, actually, they do speak English there.
They speak
I
English in
have to-
Dubai?
Well, the track announcer speaks English. So I believe it's one of those things. You know how French Canada is half English, half French.
Yes. So Dubai is
It's something
half
like that.
English
Half
and
English,
whatever
half
else.
Arabic.
Arabic. Okay.
Arabic. So you can ask them. By the way, I heard amazing things about the track. It's a great. They give really good dinner. By the way, I actually heard.
They have good dinner. Have you been to Dubai?
I know, but I've just heard that over.
You just heard they have good meals.
Yes, and I heard there's a hotel there too on the track, and I heard it's a phenomenal hotel.
Ooh, so it's like the hotel in the Rogers Center.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to be doing this for starting next Thursday, and we are going to be, I will be breaking down all the results for you, and Joe will have to just be standing there like a goofball.
Are you going to tell us when the Ferris wheel breaks?
No. All I can tell you is it's every Thursday morning. So how do we get to this point? So the last 2 weeks here, we've had the UAE 1000 trial. You got to do this. You got to stay focused. Which, hey, I was gonna punish you now. So even Steven here. You got that?
I'm listening.
And we had that was 2 Thursdays ago, the 7th, and then yesterday we had the 2000 trial and the Dubai Trophy.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing I would say is that Rebels Romance, that the horse who won the trial yesterday, who's 3 for 3 now, that looks like a serious horse. So I would say that would be one to keep a look on. And Soft Whisper, who won the 1000 trial, that would be a serious one too.
You know who won yesterday?
Who?
Your man.
I saw that. See, I watched it yesterday.
I
watched it yesterday. And the
how do you watch Dubai horse racing?
It's very easy.
How? What channel is this on? Is it on CBS?
No. It'll be on TVG. You can watch it all there.
I actually don't have that channel anymore.
Oh boy. So and then and Tapu Bill won the trophy. And I'll
Taco
give you
Bell?
another thing. No, Tapu Bill.
Ah,
Taco Bell. I'll give you another thing too. So, do you know how Emirates Planes and Emirates
yes, the airline. Yeah.
do you know that Emirates owns a lot of resources?
Really?
Yes.
Isn't that a country though?
Emirates, United Arab Emirates.
Oh, okay. That's just a company.
Yeah, so I'm telling you, so their owner's name is called Godolphin. That's their ownership
Godolphin.
name. Yeah, and they are. You always see it. It's all royal blue shirt, royal blue sleeves. The only thing that changes if they have two horses or more in the same race, there might be a white cap, a red cap, whatever.
I'm gonna make a bet.
But
I'm gonna make a bet with you.
well, I'm not done yet. And
Okay.
I was showing them because always on their colors says "Fly Emirates, fly better" or whatever the slogan is. Fly Emirates or whatever they call it. I said, why is it always Emirates? And it turns out they're in the same company. So
I will let
go
you
ahead.
do this next year too if you can spell Godolphin.
Holy crap! That's a. Let me tell you something, man. That is a real
You
tough
can do it
task.
next year if you can spell Godolphin.
I'll give it a shot right now.
Go.
Godolphin.
Uh Hold on. There's a silent letter in here.
Hey, I gotta start all over again. Thanks to you.
Okay.
Godolphin.
You got it.
He was very sad that I got it.
Well, for 2 years, we can go. Me and Trevor going to the carnival. Hopefully, the Ferris wheel will be there next year too.
Yes, but that's all I gotta say. Next week the action really kicks up. So
next week the carnival opens.
Carnival opens, man. I'm ready.
Funnel cakes, like stuff like that.
No funnel cakes though. Although you
But
can get a nice.
But Dubai has good dinners though.
Yes, I don't know what they have, but again, to all the horsemen out there, I hope for a safe and happy carnival. No cases, no injuries. I hope for all safety and the best.
Me too, and I hope the lines are short on the rides. There's no long lines.
Actually, I heard they're going to start with no fans, so there really is going to be no lines.
There's going to be a carnival with no people?
Well, well, why is there music during the NBA games when nobody's there?
Because at least people watch it on TV. It would be an empty carnival.
I get that. What can I tell you? So that's all I got, Joe. You got anything else?
Monday, football games will be here. And
yes,
this was a tough task. Good job, you did it.
I appreciate it. And
I will say this too. Hold on, sorry. I will say this. Yankee players were excited that LeMahieu's back. They were all over Twitter talking about it.
Good.
They're excited. Sorry, go ahead. Wrap us up.
So that's it. That's all we got for today. I'm Trevor Markowski. That's Joe Morales. You can find it on Joe Morales _ Did I get that right?
You got it. What platform?
On Twitter.
There you go.
And that's all we got for today. We'll see you on